My CRT scanner flagged this 4-hour winner on AUDUSD last week before I'd even opened the chart, because it knows how to read price action. It knows what higher time frame targets are in place. It understands, is there reason to get involved? Have we seen active accumulation and manipulation? And thirdly, it knows how to align execution timeframes to understand, is there an active entry? And in this particular case, the market gave us everything. So I want to show you exactly how to find these types of high probability setups. And as I say, I've been working on this scanner for months and it's ready to launch in the next week. So subscribe to the channel to see exactly when it goes live. Now, this is the 12-hour time frame. So every trade I take, I'm always trading either the 4-hour, the 6-hour, or the 12-hour time frame. But I want to trade in line with high probability, higher time frame targets. So I'm always trading the weekly profile, the 2-weekly profile, or the monthly profile. But I need to understand, what are all of the active targets that exist from the 12-month down to the weekly before I even think about taking an entry. So that's how I'm going to show you how to take this trade, how to understand when setups are high probability. So let's get into it. So this is a 12-hour time frame. We're going to use this for execution. In isolation, we can't read much from it. We don't understand the higher time frame story for price at this stage. The first thing I want to do is show you the 12-month time frame. So what has happened on the 12-month in the last couple of candles? We saw this bearish candle. So at the point this candle closed, what are we expecting? Lower prices. And we get that. Price runs lower. But then after that, it closes inside the previous candle's range. So it hits the target and then closes inside. This sets an AMD target or a CRT target because we have active accumulation, then we have manipulation whereby price has raided the external range liquidity at the low of the previous candle. It's then closed inside this candle's range. So at the point the second candle closes, the manipulation candle, we have a reason to go higher. This was a 12-month target for price, which price has hit. So price is running its previous candle and it has hit its AMD target. So there is no active target in the market on the 12-month time frame. We're waiting for new context. So we can just delete this right now. We can wait for new context to set up on this time frame. What about the 6-month? Well, it's the exact same story. We saw price run bearish, then we're expecting lower prices, which we get, but price closes inside. So as soon as this candle closes, what are we then looking for? Price to distribute to the 6-month AMD target. Accumulation, manipulation, and then aggressive distribution. And the 6-month tells us, it paints the story for us. We get a close above this candle. So this becomes an active continuation target. Price runs it, but of course runs to the 12-month AMD completion target. So like the 12-month, the 6-month needs to set up, needs to find new context, which we don't yet have. What about the 3-month? Well, this is where we can start to see something interesting in the market. We see this bearish candle. Then we get this manipulation and close above. This is the setup for the 12-month AMD. But from a 3-month perspective, if we just read what's happening with the candles, we can see the last candle ran its previous candle. It closed above this candle. So on the 3-month time frame, we're expecting continuations. We're expecting price to simply go higher. So this is an active 3-month continuation target. It's the first target we can confidently place in our cascade stack that price has a reason to trade towards. Good. So now we drop to the monthly time frame. And we see this aligns with the previous month's high. So is there a reason for price to go lower at this stage? Well, price was bullish. It then traded above its previous candle, ran the high, but also ran the low and closed inside. So this is an inside bar that has run its previous candle's high and low. So there's no fresh context on the monthly time frame. We've already run the previous high and we've run the previous low. So from a structure perspective, there's something fairly interesting going on. This is bullish monthly structure. So we have order block, price running higher, and then we have an inefficiency in price. We have a bullish fair value gap. between candle 1 and candle 3. So price has traded into this bullish fair value gap. We have no monthly context to go higher or lower, but we do have a 3-month continuation target. So on the 3-month time frame, there is reason to trade higher. So all we need to do is continue to drop down the time frames. What about the 2-week time frame? So at this particular point, we see that price swept the high and closed below the previous candle. So we are expecting the 2-week time frame to go lower. And that's what happens. It respects this candle and trades lower, closing below the previous low. So on the 2-week time frame, at this particular point, we have an active target. Price is expecting to trade lower, which it does. But then we see a shift. But at this particular point, this is when we were looking at this particular setup. So we know we have a higher 3-month continuation target. Price has run the 2-week target. It's run below its previous low. So on the 2-week time frame, price has done its job. It's run lower. So let's drop down a further time frame. And this is where things get interesting. So we see on the weekly time frame, price inside bar closed below the previous candle's low. So just like the 2-week time frame, price had a reason to continue lower towards the low of the previous weekly candle, which it achieved. It ran lower. But then, crucially, what did price do? It closed inside the previous range. Price ran lower, closed inside. So on the weekly profile, we now have an active target in the market, which was an AMD target. Simple as that. Accumulation, active manipulation, swept the external range liquidity at the low of the previous weekly candle, closed inside. This is active manipulation. What does price then want to do? Well, it wants to first target the weekly completion, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. And what is the supporting context here? There are no other targets available in the stack. The only target is a 3-month continuation target. So now we have alignment. We have no more reason for price to go lower. And all we have is a weekly AMD target and a 3-month continuation target. So let's now drop to our execution timeframes. And I'm going to overlay here the weekly candle. So what we saw was that price had run lower, manipulated, and closed right here. This is the close of the weekly candle. So at this particular point, do we have a reason to go higher on the 12-hour time frame? Well, we have an order block here, which is the actual order block that stimulated this entire rally. Then we have a bullish fair value gap right here. So you can see price ran lower, then traded through this bearish order block, creating this bullish structure. Sell to buy, mitigating the bullish fair value gap. Now, at this particular point, we did create a bearish order block. So yes, you can get involved here, but we haven't yet seen this active manipulation. We haven't seen a close of this weekly candle. So what we see is some consolidation essentially. So as soon as this candle closes, you could use this structure to get involved in the long, or you can simply wait for new context. So instantly we get a bullish candle. And what does this then create? Fresh structure. This is a sell to buy. So we have bullish structure, sell off, and then an order block shift, buy, and essentially sell to buy, bullish order block. And that's as simple as it is. We have context now aligned. We have one reason to go higher, which is the weekly AMD completion. Then we have 2 reasons to go higher, the 3-month continuation. So we have active accumulation, manipulation. We have targets in play. And now we're waiting for execution to align, which we now have a bullish sell to buy. It's an order block. So now we can simply set our order at the order block, covering where? The swing point. Give it some breathing room. You can see there that this candle whipped through the order block itself. So you can either cover the order block or cover the actual swing point. I think when you have this much room to breathe, just cover the swing point. And then to the actual completion target, this is a 4.23R trade. And look how clean this price action is. Literally sweeps into the order block. You get 2 candles, 1, 2. Then price explodes higher. Why? Because there's literally nowhere else for price to go. That is the only and closest target for price in the market. So this is a clean 4-hour trade. Yes, you can hold this because price can just run straight to where? The 3-month continuation target. That'd be a 7-hour trade. Or you can just wait for fresh context. Or just wait for another pair in your trading list to set up. We don't need to sit in trades for a long period. We're scanning trades constantly. We have the scanner which is about to launch, which literally finds these setups looking at 30 plus pairs, including metals, crypto, every single day. So that's exactly how to trade cascade targets and accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. And then it's just about being an absolute sniper and waiting for setups to perfectly align to give you complete clarity and complete confidence that there is nowhere else for price to go. And if you are going to hit some losers, that's completely fine because you're managing your downside. And then when you win, you're making 2, 3, 4-hour multiples. And that is literally how to become a profitable trader. So as I say, subscribe to the channel. There's so much more coming. We're going to look at different asset classes. We're even going to go into stocks in the future. So please subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more updates coming very soon. See you on the next one.